If Grief does come to Black Ops 7, and I'd be surprised if it doesn't, they already made it, and stuff like Cranked comes back every year, Jingle Hells comes back every year, and they're already converting the maps into smaller ones, so it would be spiteful if they didn't bring back Grief, but you never know. Now, I'm yet again gonna sound like Hater Supreme, but what can you do? I gotta speak the truth. These new augments are pretty uninspiring, not a lot of interesting stuff to shake up the meta, but there's a couple that could have a place in Grief. Biggest game changer that I can see is Necromancer on Healing Aura, which gives the ability to revive dead allies. That is big enough to make a few people switch Ether Shroud, so you have somebody on your team that can keep everyone alive, especially if the revive mechanics remain as awful as they were in 6, where essentially you can't revive against a good team, might as well not even be a thing. This is similar to the Join the Party Gobblegum on Black Ops 4, and would add a new wrinkle to Grief if you're willing to give up the Shroud. It's 3 rounds before someone comes back, and reviving them is very difficult if the other team knows what they're doing, so having one guy on your team with this would change how the games play out from 6. Another one that caught my eye is on Death Perception, of all perks, Sixth Sense. Take less damage from behind. It's kind of like a weaker version of Turtle Shell, but it works all the time with or without armor, so it's almost on par depending on the damage reduction. Now, I don't know what perk you don't take and get this instead, but there is real value and utility here because 99% of the hits you take in Grief are from behind. People get in your face and knock you back into the zombies. So this perk could be the difference between life and death if you're running this augment. Another I kinda like is Armormatic on Vulturade. Now, it's a tough sell because people really like Smell of Death, but if you're on the run, on a high round, chances are there's plates all over the ground and you're just constantly refilling your armor, allowing you to play looser and mix it up with people in what would normally be a bad spot. It's probably not going to be better than Smell of Death, but I could see griefing opportunities this opens up that would not exist without it. Might be worth a look if 7 does get Grief. Footwork on Stamina Up seems solid because otherwise you're probably running hard target, but that only has value during ammo rounds with specific enemy types that spit on you. Otherwise, it's doing nothing, and it's always a wise choice to pick the thing that is always doing something for you. And this is just flat out a mobility increase that would allow you to strafe around people during a knife fight. Quick Revive is a new one called Emergency Medical Kit. If Grief remains as it is now, then I imagine this would give you 2 self-revives in Grief, not 4. But assuming it works in Grief, then this is your new go-to. Swift recovery is great, in theory, but how often do you really get to revive people in a serious game? So I'd think you run this new one. Maybe pop a dead drop or something like that to keep your salvage high and have an extra chance at winning. Seems like a no-brainer. Iron Core increases health when your plates are gone. Seems kinda useless. I mean, it's basically probiotic, but I'm assuming slightly more health to give it a place in the balance, but still. I was the very last holdout for probiotic, and even I switched to Imperil Peach, also known as reactive armor, because in Grief, the scaled up damage just won't make this valuable. If your armor is gone, you are dead in the water. No damage increase can ever beat 0 damage taken. That's what reactive armor does, stuns the zombies. So what might amount to 1 more hit isn't going to be a difference maker unless it's like round 8. Shake It Off significantly reduces damage sometimes, which is like going with a crit chance build. I'm sure the potential of a hit doing almost no damage could be good, but how often does it proc? You're leaving your life up to RNG. I'd rather go the safe bet with hardened plates. Mocha Mall on Melee Macchiato is interesting for us console plebs. All melee attacks replaced with your dedicated melee weapon. Now, if you're on keyboard, this would seem like a joke. It's 1 button to swap out your melee weapon. On console, slightly more annoying pulling it out, but even then, it's not the hardest thing in the world to hold the button. And you're giving up Vampiric to do so, which I personally hope Vampiric is restricted in Grief. It's a cancer that needs to be cured in Black Ops 7. And on the new perk, Mask of Salvation is worrisome because it almost feels like people are gonna have 6 charges of Dying Wish now. So I don't really know about this one. It's circumstantial, so it's not gonna be a huge issue, but still, it's the possibility of 3 more Dying Wish charges to cheat death. Grief does not need any more ways to cheat death. It already has way too many as it is. And just for fun, I hope Grief is in Black Ops 7, and I hope Toxic Growth is as much fun as it should be, because trapping people inside the vines sounds fucking hilarious. Trapping people in 6 is very difficult because they can push you way back even if you're laid down. With this, you could get someone into a corner, pop a couple of these, and have them stuck there trying to slowly get out of it as zombies beat the hell out of them. Very high griefing potential against newbies, probably not useful against a decent player, but pure fucking hilarity against randoms, just like brain rot zombies. And plant food is interesting because mixing that with light mend and vampiric could be a very disgusting health boost that is impossible to kill. But just like vampiric, I think light mend also needs to go, but that's for another video.